Other examples that could be used are kind of lab dependent. So like kind of one major one is look at the types of equipment you're using. Is there a better piece of equipment that can be used to measure that that's kind of out there, right, that we have available? Please be mindful that it has to be something that would be available at the high school level. Of course, there are more accurate volume readings that are done with different pieces of equipment, but we may not have access to them. So you have to be kind of reasonable in your suggestions that you are using for a lab improvement. Okay. Okay, so we're going to move on to something called significant figures. So significant figures goes by a whole bunch of different names. Sometimes I'll say sig figs, right? So like sig figs, or you'll see significant digits, which I shorten to sig digs. So significant digits really has to do with ensuring that you have a certain amount of certainty that is represented in your numbers. So there's a whole bunch of different rules for determining how many significant figures a number has. So we're going to go through that, and I'm going to have you do some practice with this as well, okay? So first thing we need to do is we need to learn what is a significant figure or a significant digit. So first, let's talk about numbers that are not zero. So non-zero integers. Any number that is not a zero is always significant. So for example, 3,456 has 4 significant figures or significant digits. All of these numbers are significant because they're not zeros. Okay? So even if I had something like 781.267, all of these are not zeros, so all 6 of these numbers would be significant. So we'll call them sig figs. Okay? Now let's talk about zeros. So zeros have a whole bunch of different rules, actually, depending on where the zero is located. So first of all, any zeros that are leading zeros, so meaning zeros that are in front before your first actual non-zero number, they do not count as being significant. So meaning 0.0486, these 2 zeros, because they are in front, are not counted as being significant. So it's only the 486 that is counted. And it doesn't matter how many zeros there are in front, any leading zero does not count. So I can have 0.00000000004. This has only one significant figure, only this number 4. All the zeros that are in front have no significance. Okay? All right, well, what about zeros that are in between numbers? So there's a number in front, then there's a zero or a few zeros, and then there's a number after. So we call those captive zeros. You can call them sandwich zeros. But they're a zero that's in between 2 other numbers. They are always counted as being significant. So 16.07, because this zero is in between, all of these numbers are significant. And it does not matter how many of these captive zeros you have. As long as if there is a number before and there is a number afterwards, the zeros do count. So let's say I had 2007.012. Okay, so here, these 2 zeros are captive, right, between the 2 and the 7. This zero is also captive. So all of these would be significant. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 significant figures. Just put SF for short. Now you can have a combination too. What if I have zeros in front? Sorry about that. They were testing the fire alarm. So let's say we had 0.000501. Okay. So these zeros that are in front that are leading zeros do not count, which is a rule we learned just before this one. But this 0 that's in between the 5 and the 1 would. So this would be 3 significant figures, just the 5, 0, and the 1. Now, what happens if you have zeros at the end of your number? So they're called trailing zeros. So trailing zeros are a little bit different. Sometimes they're significant, sometimes they're not. So they are only significant if the number has a decimal point in it. So for example, 9.300 has a total of 4 significant figures because this decimal point makes these 2 zeros significant. Now, if this was 9,300 with no decimal point, this would actually only be 2 significant figures. Because there's no decimal point, these 2 would not be counted towards our number. Now, you're probably wondering, like, why is that the case? Okay, so let's look at that a little bit further. If I have the number 100, so if I say something is 100 grams, this could actually be a rounded answer. I'll show you what I mean by that. Let's say that it was 109 grams, and we wanted to round it to the nearest hundredth. That would actually round to 100 grams. If I had, if I had 130 grams, that would round to be 100. But if you say that it is 100.0 grams, what you're saying is this is not 101, 102, or 99. It's not a rounded value. You're saying that we know for certain that there is a decimal point and a 0 afterwards. So the more digits that you have that are significant, the more accurate that data is. Right? This kind of goes back to the apple example we used when we looked at certainty. If I have an apple and I say it's 10.0 grams, this is more accurate than if I were to just say 10 grams because it could be 10.2 grams, right? We don't know what it is. By just saying 10 grams, we don't know what the additional numbers after are. But by saying 0.0 grams, this is a more accurate data point. Essentially, significant digits is one way of actually saying how accurate or how true is this number to what the real value is. So the more significant digits it has, the more accurate that value will be. Okay? Now, when you're looking at conversion factors, so let's say you're converting something like 1 inch is equal to 2.54 centimeters, or 1,000 grams is equal to 1 kilogram. When you're doing any sort of conversion, it doesn't matter what it happens to be, they are considered to be an infinite number of significant digits. So what that means is we don't really factor in significant digits here because this is an exact conversion. Like it's not really a rounded number. Like 1 inch is equal to this. You're not going to round this. You can't say 1 inch is equal to 3 centimeters and round this up. It's exactly 2.54 centimeters. So any conversion factor is considered to be exact. All right, so taking into consideration all of those rules we just learned, I want you to try this out. So take a look at the number, and I want you to indicate how many significant figures or significant digits are in each of these. So you can pause the video and fill in your answers here. All right, so this first one, we have captive zeros and trailing zeros. Because of this decimal point, actually all of these are significant. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 significant digits or significant figures. Here we have a trailing zero, but because of the decimal, everything is significant. So we have 4. Here we have captive zeros and a trailing zero. So actually this trailing zero does not count because there is no decimal point in this number, but the captive zeros do. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 significant figures. Now, when you have a scientific notation number, the times 10 portion actually is not looked at. You only look at the portion that is before the times 10. So in this case, they're all non-zeros, so all three of those numbers are significant. Here we have a lot of leading zeros that are not counted. So here we have 2 significant figures. And here we have a whole bunch of trailing zeros with no decimal point. So actually only the first 2 numbers are counted here. Okay, so now we're going to look at what happens when you deal with significant digits in a calculation. So there are different rules when you're doing multiplication and division in comparison to when you're doing adding and subtracting. So multiplication and division, what you do is, of course, you would actually do the calculation, but the answer that you would report it to has to be equal to the number of the least precise measurement in the calculation. So what that means is essentially the number that you give as your final answer is equal to the lower significant digit value. So let's do 6.38 times 2. So the answer you get in your calculator is 12.76. So we have to report this to the proper number of significant digits. So let's take a look. This first one, 6.38, is 3 significant figures, right? Because they're non-zeros. And 2.0 is 2 significant figures. Because the 0 counts because of the decimal point. So we would need to round this to 2 significant figures because it's the lower number. So instead of 12.76, actually our final answer here would be rounded to 13. So this is why it's important to remember your rounding rules. Now, give this a try. So all of these are multiplication and division. And I have the answer here. Okay, so these are the answers if you were to put this into your calculator. But what I want you to do is I want you to fill in what you think the answer should be with the proper number of significant figures. So pause the video and give that a try. Okay, so remember that the answer you report this to has to do with the lower number of significant figures from the original numbers in the question. So this is 3.24, which is 3. 7.0 is 2. So we would round this to 2 significant digits, which would now be 23 meters squared. Please remember to put in the units as well. Okay? So here we have 100.0, which is 4. Maybe I'll write down how many sig figs these have so we remember why we're doing this. So 100.0 has 4 significant figures because of the decimal point. 23.7 has 3. So that means our final answer here would have to be reported to 3 because it's the lower number of the 2. So over here we would have 3 would be 4.22 grams per centimeter cubed, right? Because the 9 would round that up to a 2. Okay, so here we have 0.02, which is only 1 significant figure. Here we have 2.371, which is 4. So, of course, the lower number being 1. So that means we would round this to 1 significant figure, which would be 0.05 centimeters squared. Over here, 710 is 2. Remember, there's no decimal point there. 3.0 is also 2. So our answer here needs to be rounded to 2. Okay, so this is a bigger number. 236.66, etc. When you round this to 2 significant digits, it would actually be 240. Right? So remember, you're looking and the 6 would round that 3 up. 1.030 is 4. 2.87 is 3. So meaning we would need this to be 3, which would be 2.96 grams per milliliter.